Welcome everyone, it's Evelyn. So glad you guys are here with me today. I have a lot to tell you today. You might have seen the toad that I posted, and that was the start of my day. But then as I was going to do the video a few minutes ago, I just remembered when I was meditating either last night or the night before, I remembered page 67 I saw in the book about my great-grandfather David Lubin from Feeding the World. So I just now opened the book to see what that page was about, and it was very significant, so I want to bring you that message as well. I have a read that I did after I saw my toad today from the Wild Unknown Pocket Tarot, and then I have my 7-deck read on the table, as you can see. For those of you not familiar, it is a general reading. It's a 7-deck read. So if you'd like something more specific, you can check out my information below, as well as on my website, twinflames3344.com. I also have a CD out there called Ashes, Twin Towers to Twin Flames by Evelyn Stainthorpe, if you want to check that out. And actually 3 of the songs on that CD I posted on my YouTube site with little videos just to bring up the songs if you want to check out them as a sample. I think they were posted in April at some time. I'm not sure exactly the dates though. But you can see them because none of my other videos are, 3, 4, 5 minutes long. So, okay. So I want to show you that page first. And then, of course, I looked up the toad to see about the spirit totem and the messages that were coming in for us right now. Because that was definitely a message for me, but also for you guys as well. And today's the 15th. We have the full lunar eclipse tonight. It's in the United States, it's today, but it goes into overnight. I think here on the East Coast, it's just after midnight, like 12:12, something like that, is when the full eclipse is. So we have that energy going right now as well. Today's the 15th, which is the devil. The day adds up to 26, which is the Page of Wands, who's that very inspired young man type of energy, or teenager, really excited or inspired about something. And then the devil, which can be, the shadow side of things, or perhaps a young man or a young child getting into something that they're not wise about yet, or even just a Capricorn energy with fire here as well, which actually reminds me of my great-grandfather. He was actually born June 10th, so he was Gemini. It's my mother's birthday as well. And my father's father, who wasn't my biological father, was June 10th as well. So it's kind of crazy that we have 3 June 10ths in the family. And actually my great-grandfather wasn't biologically related, was June 10th as well. But he reminds me of a Capricorn. He might have had Capricorn rising or something. I've never looked at his chart, but I guess I could do that. But he was kind of like a militant do-gooder. And he's a very, intelligent person. He made so many strides in his life. But the page that I opened the book up to, and again, for those of you who hadn't seen it previously, because I have brought it up before and opened a page, Feeding the World is about my great-grandfather, David Lubin here, and written by Azrael Eisenberg, who is the father of my old next-door neighbor's mother. So the mother lived there, but her father wrote the book about my great-grandfather, and we ended up being next-door neighbors completely by accident, but not accident, as you all know. And so I opened up to page 67 because I literally saw this in my meditation before sleep. I don't know if it was last night or the night before, I can't remember, but I just remembered the page number now. So I opened it up to this page, and you can see the drawing of the man who's near death, right? It's like, and I read the chapter to see what it was about. And the chapter is called The Shield of David. And at the time, he was gold mining in Arizona, apparently, here. He was during this chapter, he ended up at the Vulture mine in of all names, Wickenburg. It's just north of Phoenix in Arizona. And they had been mining there because they found a man who they had to pay to mine the gold, or to crush the gold for them afterwards, but they could use the property for free. So they were doing that for a while to see if they could make any money there. And it ended up being the biggest gold mine for Arizona in history. That's what I just read in, I think it was Wikipedia. So what happened on page 67, as you can see, he was stranded in the desert. But I had to read on to see what happened before that because I didn't understand what the message was on page 67. So what had happened prior to this they were doing their gold mine. He was with some other men, and they were in Apache country, and David actually had made friends with the Apaches. He played the violin, and he could always see them kind of hovering far away, listening to him play, because he liked that, or they liked that. But there was this one, guy who was always making trouble, and he ended up shooting one of the Apaches nearby one day for doing nothing, for just being nearby. And so then David ended up getting shot by one of the Apaches that night in his right leg, which is a wound they were showing me to clear, because the hanging man in this deck, the SIRIAN STARSEED deck right here, this card, is the hanging man that I always talk about, the right knee block, because he's literally got a block next to his right knee in that picture in this deck. So I always talk about the right knee block, which has to do with anger in the joints, and especially the liver as well. And so here, I literally have a wound from my great-grandfather David in my right leg to clear. And they're showing me why I have a wound in my right side so that I can clear it, which was really cool. That was one of the messages. So that was really cool, because that right knee block hasn't really been coming up for a while, and then all of a sudden this week it came up again. So that was one of the things. So he got shot with an arrow, and then his friend pulled the arrow out and treated it. And so they were still mining, and he was okay. But then he just loved the desert. He loved the thrill of nature, and how out of nothing, all of a sudden, when a lot of rain came, all of a sudden some plants would come up. And he was just talking about the thrill of nature, and how he wandered off one day too far, and then he couldn't find his way back before dark, and they're in the desert. So he fell asleep in the middle of the desert, thinking he would, just get going at daylight and be able to find his way back, but he didn't. And I guess his wound was not completely clear, because he ended up the next day not being able to find his way out of the desert, and kind of passed out there, and just, prayed that he would die quickly if that was necessary. And he remembers opening his eyes and seeing 2 vultures posted on the stone nearby, as well as circling over him. And so the second night, I guess he was saying some prayers as well, or just remembering things that he had learned in his childhood. And the next morning he did awake to the guys that he was with, so they did find him, but he was sick, and he had a fever, so I guess his wound was infected. And they had no way to take care of him there, so they got one of the Apaches who liked him at that point, because he had made friends with the Apaches, to see if he would come and help him out, which he did. So he gave him some herbs, and he healed him. He was able to get back on the trail after a couple days. And so that was him in the middle of the desert, that picture that I showed you on page 67. And the couple paragraphs just prior to page 67, which lead into the message on 67, and this, I'm just going to read it to you, just a couple paragraphs. The blessing which David chanted at his bar mitzvah had come back to memory. May he soon come and bring joy to our hearts. Let no stranger occupy David's throne. Let no others possess themselves of his glory, for thou didst promise him by thy holy name that his light would never go out. Blessed art thou, O Lord, shield of David. Which is interesting too, because in the read for today, in the code line, Adonai came up, which is my Lord, or our Lord as well. So long ago the Lord was his shield in the pogrom in Poland, and he was his shield in the treacherous quicksand in California. Would he shield him again in the desert sands of Arizona? Memories of his childhood arose, his mother lighting candles on the Sabbath eve, the blare of the ram's horn in the synagogue at the closing moments of the Day of Atonement, the words from the book of Leviticus, when you come into the land which I give unto you, then shall the land keep a Sabbath unto the Lord. He felt humbled now at the thought of his mother, so devout in all the observances of her people, and his own indifference and neglect of his heritage. It had been a long time since he had given much heed to such things. There had been times when he scarcely even remembered that he was a Jew. But now the memories of his experiences as a Jew came back and filled him with wonder. And in a strange and awesome way he was truly happy, and this is on page 67. Daylight came, and with it came thirst. David dismounted, hoping to find a few drops of dew amongst the stones before the sun dried it, but there was none. With his pocket knife he slashed open a cactus stem, but the few drops of moisture he was able to squeeze from it were so bitter that they only added to his misery. Now and then he would shout, "Kirby! Henley!" but there was no answer, not even an echo. For a while he rode toward what seemed to be the east, but as the sun climbed, his sense of direction deserted him entirely. Finally, to relieve his horse of the burden of his weight, he dismounted again. After that he ceased to think clearly. His head spun, his tongue was thick with thirst, and his throat felt like sand. He began to dream of finding water. Several times he rose and dragged his exhausted horse toward an enticing pool shimmering before him in his imagination. At last he lay down panting, too exhausted to move any further. At moments he saw, through his delirium, a rattlesnake approach and then slither away, and then the momentary shadow of a vulture circling overhead. When he opened his eyes for a moment, he saw the two of the big birds haunched on a rock nearby. And here's where he was just asking to let me die on the next page here. Only let me die soon. But then he awoke shivering. The sun had set. He took one last look at the stars and closed his eyes. But when he opened them again, it was daylight, and he was surely dreaming, for now he heard voices of them calling for him. So this is where they found him. So literally, and this is where they found him, and then they called for the Apache to come and help him, which he did, and healed him. So, this is like the near-death experience, right, of the dark night of the soul of the Divine Masculine, where he's reconciling with himself before death. Okay, and also had to do with the group after that. After he was healing, he was talking something. He said something about not having remembered something since since he was bar mitzvahed or something. And then the other guy who got him shot said, "You're a Jew," and then they had a big fight. And that other guy, Henley, ended up leaving the group because the group all backed David because he's a good man. So anyway, there's the story about that. So we have the toad showing up on my step this morning, right after I watered the plants out there, and he looked like a rock. He moved his right leg, which again is the right knee block. This frog, the only time he moved in 4 minutes, or this toad, was his right back leg, that he pulled it closer to him when I walked up to him, or after I'd walked up to him and I started videoing him. Or her, I don't know what the frog was or the toad was. But so here's that right knee block again about the wound in the right leg that needs to be cleared. But it wasn't just about a man shooting someone who's innocent and then in retaliation an innocent man getting shot again, and the differences between Jews and non-Jews and Indians and the white man. You see the fight here. There's no reason for that. And because David made friends with the Apaches, they ended up saving his life. So there's a lot of lessons in that chapter. So my toad on the garden wall, and then I'd pull cards, say what was my message about this, and the underlying energy from the Shaman Dreams deck was this guy. And this is my favorite, one of my favorite decks, or one of my favorite cards in this deck, the Shaman Dreams deck, because it reminds me of my mom and dad. And my mom's her middle name is Grace, and we have benefactor, grace and generosity, which my parents were very generous people. I often talk about my parents, and you all know that my mom had a really bad temper. She had a wonderful personality as well. So, half the time she was this loving, great person. The other half of the time she was, she had a bad temper, so it was difficult to live with her. But just so you know, I do have fond memories of my parents. And I told you also that recently my dad had told me that he was going into my great niece, and that same day I found out later that my mother had gone into my other great niece, and they're two separate families but the same brothers. So this is them showing me what a great time they're having in those little bodies after being freed from their old bodies that they had recently been in, because my mother just passed away last year. My dad passed away in 2016. So that came up in the underlying energy. And then another few cards came up for me regarding the toad. But I first want to give you the information. And again, the reason I showed you that card is because what are they sitting in? A toadstool. So like it was, the synchronicities were like just coming at me one right after the other. It was so cute. So the toad on the garden wall, which I told you on the video, I don't remember ever seeing a frog or a toad on my property ever. Even though there's a creek across the street from me, I've never seen one. I've been here over 30 years. So for them to be sitting there right on the wall in front of my door waiting for me was a very rare opportunity, right? So from the first sight, and by the way, that video is at 11:17, justice in the 17 of the star, alignment with your dreams coming true, and again, the frog and the prince reference, the toad on the garden wall, and the first site I went to is symbolismandmetaphor.com, where it just said fertility, rebirth, restlessness, change, deception, and disguise, because they blend in very well. And then, of course, witchcraft and magic, which is funny because Wickenburg came up. And then as the spirit animal under that same website was family, love, intuitiveness, flexibility, adaptability, friendliness, and helpfulness. Commitment issues, perhaps, less attention, independent and unreliable, but in that same website it also said they were reliable. They're coming up as unreliable because they love excitement and change, which then makes them somewhat unreliable in some friendships or relationships because they may not always be available. And then from sunsigns.org came up prosperity and productivity, wealth and good luck, witchcraft again, and supernatural powers. And for feng shui it said they recommended the three-legged toad for affluence and favorable destiny. Various stages in life, and yet they're grounded and they contact water and earth. There's a lot of flexibility and rejuvenation here. Sense serenity and synchronization with nature, which is a big deal in the definitions here, resulting in continuity despite various alterations in life or extreme flexibility while going through significant transformations. Experts at concealing themselves and adapting to their environment, and mastery of deception required for survival, right? Because they have to hide and be one with the grass and stuff. So, and he literally looked like a rock. I didn't think he was real when I first saw him because he just matched the rock. I'm like, did I get something that I didn't know about? Did someone leave me a little gift there? I didn't know he was real. So the toad spirit animal is delightful and gregarious, or when someone has them as their spirit animal. They're delightful and gregarious people, and yet get along with people really quickly and easily, and are reliable as friends. Highly inventive and like to discover new things, dedicated to family and social circles, and yet independent and confident at the same time. So again, it's that balance between the two worlds of love and family, and yet wanting your freedom and independence at the same time. So their independence is showing that they can be unreliable at times for others. They tend to indulge in religions and spiritual activities, and they're very much into fate. They can be impetuous, and again, that energy of being well-traveled, but overall, growth and renovation, as well as metamorphosis. From zodiacsigns.horoscope.com, or -horoscope.com, it means a renewed connection with spiritual realm. The toad spirit guide is lucky. It's great for emotional cleansing. The toad for more strength and confidence. Actually, the toad has more strength and confidence than the frog, but is also a little bit less connected spiritually than the frog. An appearance of a toad specifically said, successful time to use your inner resources with great luck and money, or time for transition and healthier habits. Luck, purity, and renewal, healing, and dreaming. Metamorphosis and opportunity. An excellent listener, genuine empathy, and great advice. Helps others release negative energies. And again, the energy of water and earth related with frogs and toads. References being between planes, right? Being in two worlds, which is the card that came up for me with that underlying energy that I showed you. Loving mystery and the unknown. And they also croak when they sense change in the atmospheric pressures, so that's why they predict rain. They are also connected to the moon, As a totem, this is truly powerful. Intuition and magic of nature can be defensive and secret and secrete poison. And notice the toadstool I just showed you is poisonous. Can be defensive and secrete poison, right, if they're feeling attacked. Be careful about lashing out, toad, knowing the other person's weaknesses. It can be exciting and fun, and yet they can harm it as well. Toad means literally a safe trip, and touching a toad means good news, which I actually did touch him. So those were the energies. So in addition to this being the underlying energies, when I pulled cards out for myself, the where did I put them? Because those were the underlying energies. But when I pulled the cards, I'm sorry. Where'd the other card go that I had? Because I want to show you the way they came out. The cards came out like this. Okay, and this is about overflow and abundance with the 43, which is coming together. And then here's kind of the opposite of that, of closing the door and completing things, right? When there's too much overflow here, right? This is like opening the floodgates, and this is closing the floodgates when there's too much. The 5 of freedom and independence, the 3 of coming together and being loving and social. So again, the third card, straddling 2 worlds. The 52 of the Queen of Swords, right? The Queen of Light, and wandering between realms. So being able to be in the 3D and the 5D at the same time. Being able to be social and loving and having responsibilities, and yet being in freedom with no responsibilities at the same time. So it's about that balance of life, but also straddling the 2 worlds at the same time, simultaneously, as opposed to necessarily merging everything in the middle, right? Because there's always going to be some kind of balancing act that you need to do, because it's never always in the middle. So there's the message from your toad today. So this read that I read from the toads as well this afternoon. And here is the read from my pocket tarot, the Wild Unknown. Okay, and the underlying energies is just this little, up at the corner in the beginning is the underlying energies. And so here we go. Okay, so this was done at 1:28 to 30 as I put the cards out today. And 1 is the Magician, 28 is the Twins, the choice of path, 30 is the Union energy. The 29 in between is the Fence, perhaps, or being in the present moment, that 0-point energy, with your gifts and just appreciating the present moment. So this was about the toad's message. The underlying energy had the High Priestess and the Strength card reversed together, and then the 3 of Pentacles upright, the 3 of Wands reversed, and the Judgment card reversed. So perhaps they didn't use their intuition and they were weak. And thus also the toad showing up as the divine masculine, right? The toad or the frog becoming the prince. So they didn't use their intuition and they were weak. Or Pisces and Leo both reversed. Or secret passion here and the need for courage. At work, or just having a mountain of work, co-creating and reviewing the past, looking back or living in the past as the past returns and realizing the need to swallow their pride. Or the masculine with no pride, with feminine with no intuition here. Or the Tyon or Tion came up, that energy of the tiger, masculine, and the lioness, feminine. At work, recreating past poor judgment over and over again. And then my daughter's friend stopped by in the middle of doing this as well, which was also that the energy for her was also coming up about the need to straddle both worlds and let go of the old world, right, from the past that you keep reliving. You keep telling the old story and living in that, not realizing you're no longer that story because you're in the present moment. You already overcame all of that. It's time to write a new story was coming up. So at 142, the Magician and the 2 of Cups, recreating the past poor judgments over and over again. Or followed Aquarius reversed, and it was not a good idea. And then at 143, the first card that came out of the Magician and the coming together there And the Magician's very much independent. And then the Three of Cups of coming together and being social with others. Drained without sunshine, or perhaps just needing a break. The Knight of Wands upright is coming up as the fallen angel, or with Sagittarius or even Leo in their chart here. Or the Knight of Wands upright, surrounded by Leo and Sag, both reversed or bad influences, and sharing at home or settling out. And that can be a settlement like my great-grandfather too, out mining gold with the Indians. Or just settling out, or just settled and feeling trapped with difficult kids perhaps. Or finally made home into a blissful transformation, or received a home and an inheritance, and now the worst is over with Scorpio, or in an ending or death. Or finding bliss within their own Scorpio part of themselves, which isn't now in the South Node, and we're releasing that energy, but not expressing their true desires to Cancer reversed, or in a breakup, a breakdown, a break in, a break out, or a breakthrough, and just feeling stuck or just feeling broken overall. The truth suddenly out, despite efforts to prevent that, to the Magician, the Leopard. And by the way, Pard, P-A-R-D, of leopard, means partner or fellow or forgiveness, like a pardon. So it's a Leo forgiveness here. So in the truth suddenly coming out, despite their efforts to prevent that, to the Magician, Leopard, which may be a Leo partner, a fellow, or Leo's forgiveness. And now that energy of that leopard is looking at the Hierophant reversed, magpie type of energy reversed, who likes shiny things supposedly, but then when I looked it up, it actually says magpies actually are scared of sparkly things, but it's actually blue jays who love them. And here the magpie seems turned off by the leopard's showy power, or just trying to make peace with their forgiveness at them when they haven't forgiven themselves. Or the truth is given to Gemini or Virgo with Taurus in their chart, who's now at peace, or Gemini or Virgo is at peace, but not one with themselves, with the one with Taurus in their chart, but pretending to be at peace in order to go along with the crowd. After Scorpio in a heated exchange with Cancer reversed, and then the Ten of Cups, happy family, upright here, or just being in the spotlight and on stage, goes with the Page of Swords reversed, and gossip and rumors and negative talk, lying and spying, or a child mouthing off. The Wounded Warrior reversed surrenders to the Knight of Pentacles, who looks like they're willing to help or be a friend, perhaps due to Aries reversed and their failure to launch, or a child of Cancer reversed, or deeds of the eclipse and deceit in the air, or Aries and or Gemini or Aquarius child causing issues between people here. The Page of Pentacles, perhaps a sweet little one, the good kid, or a practical opportunity here, maybe trying to face their fears with Lovers, Nine of Cups, Knight of Cups, or the Page of Pentacles is scared that the Gemini Knight of Cups or Lovers may be leaving them to offer love elsewhere. Or the Page of Pentacles or Deer may have fears of birds, or geese and ducks, or the deer are scaring them away. Or the Knight of Cups of affection here invited the Page of Pentacles, knowing they're going through a harsh situation, and getting them away for the day, or for detox of the world with their soulmate, friend, or sibling, or going to see Pisces upright and Capricorn reverse kids or soulmates, or Gemini sending a message of or some love to them from afar, perhaps at 210, which is the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune, that destiny. So perhaps there's a meeting here, or perhaps kids offering time, money, and effort to the King of Pentacles reversed, who needs help, or perhaps has financial issues right now, could be a father, or suddenly out of options due to sudden events, or an epiphany, or sexual exchange, or Scorpio feels like they have no choice or recourse, or needs to research other options at 212. The High Priestess and the Hanging Man, or seeing new perspectives. Again, new options. The Knight of Swords reversed started a fight at 2:14, which is Valentine's Day, and that's when my daughter's friend arrived, actually. And she actually came over because her power went out. There's another message for you. So the Knight of Swords reversed started a fight, perhaps on Valentine's Day, or perhaps with their Valentines, or 2:14 is the High Priestess and the Temperance card, which is that higher love. or just negative and conflicted, or verbally abusive and attacking the group, or unruly hair perhaps and being irritated, or earth sign with sudden electricity issues while using it and had to rush somewhere in traffic and perhaps irritated. Things broken or just breaking down and not working out, or uncomfortable emotions are coming up regarding this stuff, and feeling rushed, which I always used to feel rushed. You know, when you're a single mom working a job where you can't just show up and do it, you have to be on and awake and well rested to do it because it's a high stress job, or and just having all the other things that go along with being a parent. You're always being rushed. There is no time for you. And that feeling of impatience always, that people don't understand. No, you don't understand. I have to get this done now. I can't be patient. I have to do this now because I'm supposed to be somewhere 10 minutes ago, you know. Or losing time, money, and energy due to the family, business, or community dysfunction, or someone not doing their job right, or not getting what you paid for. People, business, communities letting you down, and just being depressed without love, loss of hope and overwhelm, or a bad reputation and dumping them or you, or no recourse because they're the only one around, available or convenient at 2:22. That's the guidance counselor show. Perhaps you need some guidance or a recommendation. Suffering in silence, or perhaps your sister. Stressed out, anxious, or not sleeping well. Purging, can't get your mind to shut up. Disappointment, heartbroken, surgery or separation from self. Powerlessness and not liking that feeling, or being dependent on others that you can't rely on, or they can't rely on you and then you feel guilty, or struggling to untangle the solar plexus, anxieties, cords, intestines, wires, strings, jewelry, etc., all up in knots, and needing patience to untie them. Dumping multiple loads, emotional attachments, or awake thinking of all the things that you need to get rid of in the light of day, no longer confused when it's light out, but perhaps you are at night, awakened under the cozy blankies, but with red eyes and not wanting to get up. At 2:31, the High Priestess and the conflict here. The Queen of Pentacles reversed, unhappy or without social life. Perhaps feeling their stress. Perhaps someone's in a bad mood, or just not good company right now. With Libra upright though, destiny who's positive, or with wheel in their favor because they're well rested. So at 2:58, the 2 of the High Priestess and the 58 of the 4 of Swords, and being well rested, that can be rest or on break or meditating, praying, the 5D connection between the twins. What came up in the cards here is the well-rested sweet little lamb who's sad and grieving. And the untrusting cat, though, with one eye open. They look like they're all peaceable, but they're not, right? They're the one with their ace up their sleeve and being sneaky here, with one eye open at the injustice of things. The Page of Swords and the King of Swords then came up regarding the growth in a cycle of the Page of the Swords growing into mastering your thoughts and words. Perhaps the King of Swords cat feels the need to look after both of them now. Maybe because that's your responsibility, right? So if someone loses a parent, they then have to take care of their younger siblings. Or feeling bad for having been jealous of a sibling. And again, this happens all the time now because of the divorce. When 2 marriages break up, and then what happens when one parent goes into another marriage and has more children. So now the old children are jealous of the new children because they have both of their parents. And it can be someone who passed away as well, being jealous of the remarriage and then having another child. And then what happens if that parent passes away? Then the child not only feels guilty or feels grieving because they lost a parent, or now 2, now they feel guilty because they were mad at the younger sibling for having 2 parents, and now they don't have both of their parents either. And you had sent, negative message to them when you felt jealous of them. So you can see what a child can end up taking on as a child just for having lost someone. You see how the wounds can compound each other. But all of these energies were coming up right here. With the Page of Swords and the King of Swords, perhaps the King of Swords cat feeling the need to look after both of them, right? So whether it's you needing to look after your sibling, or a friend who maybe lost something or is struggling right now, or a sibling or a parent even that you have to take care of now, or feeling bad for having been jealous, like I said, of somebody else's situation, and then projecting that energy onto them, And then they become in the same situation as you, and then you feel bad for having projected that energy. And again, the guilt compounds all of that on top of their loss. At 309, which is then that energy of 309, the 369, the 6 being the 4D bridge, which is where we are now in the fourth density, as a fourth density planet, going through, jumping between different dimensions. And the reason 309 is 309 as opposed to 369 is because we're in the 0 point field in the present moment as opposed to the 6 of the 4D. We're in the now moment. The 4 of Cups reversed then came up, or perhaps people feeling jinxed or hexed in some way, because an intention is a hex or a jinx when you project that energy onto someone else. That's literally, what a spell is. So feeling guilty about that stuff, or just feeling like your life isn't going right and someone must have placed a spell on you. Why am I living this kind of life when everyone around me doesn't have to deal with this? Starting over in love with the Queen of Swords reversed or without them, and wanting to feel safe and then not allowing the changes to happen because you have certain fears now built in. Feeling scorned or with negative perspective, implementing a plan to transform finally and be free from all this at 311, which is the Empress and Justice of Alignment, which is also Taurus and Libra, in a big transformation here. With the 2 of Cups Hermit reversed and the Page of Cups reversed with the King of Swords, perhaps coming out of their chrysalis, coming out of the shell, feeling vulnerable and shy, not wanting to get out of bed, with the King of Swords upright, the wise owl who's armed with their truth, and the King of Wands upright, Cobra, who's ready to strike with their lightning rod, right, the man of passion. And then the King of Cups who's reversed with the Emperor upright, who only wants a son, or so focused on their power, but they have their own emotional issues. Perhaps he is the King of Cups reversed, or perhaps as a child who's the King of Cups reversed, so he's dealing with their issues. Or the injustice of starting over without the Queen of Swords, while transforming into an adult or new world. But the King of Swords, father, is focused on the little one, not you, and his own sex life as the King of Wands, and his Emperor career status without time to be the King of Cups reversed, or to be upright, because he's reversed here, or with his own emotional issues from his childhood, or arrogant with his reputation to uphold, so he can't be the emotional softy, right? And then it's 321, the Empress and the World, which is also 321 jump, where we have the Empress and coming full circle, which is also Pisces and Taurus. The butterflies standing up for themselves after coming out of the chrysalis, feeling like that Queen of Cups reversed mother that your father pushed aside for their work, and now understanding their position. The Queen of Cups reversed dumping a load, a burden, or all their responsibilities to recover from their exile, their destitution, their lack, their illness, their injury, or adding insult to injury. How could you do this to me? And then the Page of Wands reversed, frustrated with the Empress, upright or mother, despite their compassion here. Now note that both the Empress and the Emperor are coming up upright here. Or the Empress has her own frustrations and lack of inspiration too, at 325, the Empress and the Knight of Wands, but they're not allowed to show it. She must be the Empress at all times, an image to uphold. While in the chrysalis, while in the womb, while in school, while the food is still cooking, etc. Where you are still growing and learning is where all the inspiration and the flavors lie. The anticipation of what could be, the eureka and discovery, the development of the case, the lawyers to unravel, or the layers to unravel, before the birth of the story, of the case, of the building of the house, of the child, of the invention, of the relationship unfolding. There is a time to put the pieces together first, right? The time in the womb, the merging of two parts and then adding a third, like when you build a house, and then bridging those parts, 3 and 9 together to complete to 12. Perhaps adding extensions later or improvements later. There's always a need for upkeep too. At 331, the Empress, or the Mother Earth there, and the 31 of the 5 of Wands, and all of the conflicts and groups trying to get along and do these things together. In saying I love you, and being loving every day, and then creating a home together, and a child, and a life, the bigger it gets, the more upkeep there is at 333. Again, the energy of the 369, the Tesla energy, the Trinity energy, and the 3D, 4D, and 5D. The more you want, the more upkeep around it there is, including your own physical, emotional, spiritual bodies, right? The Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave here is untangling the knots, trying to find peace of mind about the sun in the sky, but also the sun, and keeping it to themselves. Was it because of the son he never had, as the Emperor, or is it the Emperor disowning his son? The Queen of Wands upright is all coiled into herself, with one last seed, and now unwilling to share it with them, and her attention that she always gets no matter what. But she's coming up as unhappy with themselves and expected to look good at all times. The trophy wife's position next to the Emperor, right? This is like the new younger wife who has to be a beauty queen for him now, right? She's the trophy wife. Or the Emperor upright with the King of Cups reversed. Or perhaps his Emperor has 2 to 3 sons, but only considers the one his actual son, like me. The Empress, on the other hand, has the Page of Wands reversed, perhaps their grandchild with them, as well as the King of Swords upright with the Page of Cups reversed, or who feels rejected. Or there may be an ill parent as well here who feels rejected. Or the King of Pentacles reversed, who came up earlier in the read. Or the Empress upright, who's now in a new relationship with the King of Swords, and he has a child and a parent with him, so they're merging their two things. At 343 is the Empress and the coming together of the Three of Cups, and now feeling stuck with her son as the Page of Wands, or perhaps that's the King of Wands' child that she now has to take care of, because the King of Wands is always inspired, that's fine, but he's with failure to launch, and he plays around. Or the King of Pentacles reversed with Virgo in their chart is the Empress's brother, who's the one who's the parent, right, who has issues now. Maybe they have Alzheimer's or something like that, but now, or just a long-term illness, right, so they're no fun to be around because they need taken care of. And this may be an uncle, right, of the Empress, the Empress's brother, perhaps, who was close to the King of Swords here. But now the parent feels rejected since they got old or started losing their mind or ill. Perhaps the King of Swords doesn't want to hang around them anymore. There's always a story at 1150 here. The Empress or Mother Earth, Terra Gaia, with 50, her happy family, the 10 of Cups. There's always a story. The Toad says, there is always a story, including his own, him and his warts. So there was your message. There's a lot. So now we're going to go into the read on the table. Okay. So the read on the table, and it's 43 minutes, by the way. It was just 43:21. So the world complete and the coming together. And here is the main read from the SIRIAN Starseed deck for the read on the table. You see the Lover's card there at the end in all its rainbow glory. And then we have, not that one, and then we have the complete read with the 7 decks. Okay. Okay, I just need to take a sip of water. That was a lot. Sorry, I'm thirsty. I was just running before I did the video. Okay. So I cut the SIRIAN Starseed deck, and of course it's 333. I didn't realize because this was yesterday. So it was just 333 at the end of that message, and now it's 333 at the beginning of this message. And you can look up 333 if you'd like. And again, today is the eclipse of the full moon, which is the Mother Earth getting between the sun and the moon to make her presence known. The Divine Feminine will no longer not be seen. At 3:45, the word VERS came up, which is just one letter short of verse, but let me see if there's anything else that comes up for that. Okay, VERS. So VERS comes up as VERS, short for versatile. Also versed sine, or sine, it's like the sine wave. A verse, a stanza, a short poem. A verse, a line, a sentence or simile short passage of a text are usually in prose. So again, a verse or a poem. And then towards, it also means towards. A format of meter, verse, as opposed to a prose. So again, it's mostly about that. And fresh comes up here as well. Let's see if there's anything else. There's actually a lot of definitions for that word. I'm surprised. A manner of thinking. And this is Wiktionary. I always go into Wiktionary because it has the definitions from around the world to balance them all out. It's also an array of objects, a syllable as a poetic unit. I love the array of objects. And then again, verse again towards. We're almost done here. Also lyric. Okay, so those are the definitions that came up. So however you take those meanings for you as a message. And that was at 3:45, so there's the 3D, 4D, 5D reference regarding poetry and how to straddle the two worlds. And then I finished clarifying at 3:58, which is the 3 of the Empress and Earth, Terra Gaia, the 58 of the 4 of Swords, the 5D connection of the twins. It's also rest, break, meditation, and prayer. And the major arcana in this read were Strength, Abundance, which is the Empress, the Tower, the Hanging Man, and the Lovers. And before the read was the Star. 3 Pentacles, 2 Cups, and 1 Sword. So there, again, there's a 3-2-1 jump. We have the Page of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Pentacles in the read. They're the main players here. And before the read is the Knight of Pentacles with the 9 of Cups and the 9 of Swords, which aren't court cards, but they can be people. The Knight of Pentacles there. And then after the read, the Page of Swords came up. We had double 3s, 5s, and 9s here. So the 33 of the Christ vibration, the 7 of Wands, standing up for oneself, taking the high ground. The 55 of the Truth and Excalibur, the Ace of Swords. And the 99 of lots of compassion, the Hermit and the Collective. Okay, and the endings and completions coming full circle. And then, but they weren't even the major numbers for the read. Most significant, besides the double numbers, is the 2 of the High Priestess and the Divine Feminine, the 7 of the Chariot, and the Ascension of the Feminine within the Masculine in the Chariot ascending, and then the 10 of that high vibration, reminding you about your destiny, of that high vibration trill. And the 1-0 is the 0 of Source embodiment of the human, along with the Magician embodiment of the 1. Because it's literally, 0 and 1 is basically the coming into this reality, right? Because the 0 is the 0 point. You're not a human yet, and the 1 is coming into this journey. The effort on the code line, the only word that came up was effort, and it was broken up into E and FFORT, so it's still effort because there's 2 F's there. And the fort was also coming down, or coming up here, holding down the fort, that kind of energy, or the energetic fort, the feminine's fort, the E tower is the Divine Feminine's heart in the E tower. And E, capital E, is also 1 with 3 lines, which is equal and congruent to, wanting to be equal partners with other people. So the code line is all about the number 2, which is the Divine Feminine, which we're talking about today with the eclipse and the Earth being seen, eclipsing the false light of the reflection off the moon, and instead becoming the consciousness that is the direct reflection of the sun. The sun being able to see themselves, not in a fake mirror, but in their actual mirror. That's what this eclipse is. And again, it's Scorpio and Taurus, which is the North Node and South Node right now. So this is a big whammy here. So the code line about effort and the number 2 of the feminine. What came up first was Adonai. That was the first thing, which is our Lord, right, or my Lord. And this was coming up to the nth degree. Seeing the, where's Adonai? So yeah, Adonai, my Lord, to the nth degree, and 1,000. So 1,000 was coming up in reference to, the first thing I thought of was the song, right? I've loved you for 1,000 years. But then what comes up is the 1,000 openings of the crown, the illumination of the crown. So my Lord to the nth degree, and the 1,000 of the opening of the crown, seeing the key of the moral man, the abbots, the spine, the neck support. Remember the atlas and the axis that we're on now, the Scorpio and Taurus, is referencing the support of the head, the atlas energy, the God, the knot, the ties that were put together, that I was just talking about in the read, about untying all the knots in our solar plexus especially, and the path of the man, but the woe and the man, the woman and the man, with support hanging between the energetic exchange and their effort, the effort between them. It also is coming up as to use others to the nth degree, or the user to the nth degree, and seeing the key in the moral man about the path of the woe, and supporting the hanging man in the E for effort, which is also referencing the distance or the way or the manner someone does something, right? How do they effort? And again, it's coming as E for effort, but also EE for effort, which is that energetic exchange. But it's also the two ones equal and congruent to each other. It's also coming up as my Lordeth to the nth degree. My Lordeth, seeing the key, T, about Sophia, twin, supporting the hanging man's efforts, or the hanging mane of the lion, or urge to remind them. That's funny, of who's king and who's not. That's funny. So the after-death envy and jealousy, which came up in the read as well, between children and things like that. After-death envy, jealousy, and hostility and hatred of the niece, which I brought up the nieces, the grand nieces that my parents are in right now. Of the niece, seeking the E, or seeking the key, to know, to put together the two, to support the hanging man, or the reference to Christ and Mary Magdalene, in the energetic exchange between them and making an effort. Okay? I've loved you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. And they wanted me to repeat the line from that song, and it's making me want to cry. I've loved you for 1,000. I'll love you for 1,000 more. I have died every day waiting for you. I forget the words. I've adored you for 1,000 years. I'll love you for 1,000 more. So again, the 1,000 openings of illumination of the 144,000, right? Because the 144 and then the 1,000 of illumination of the crown. And remember, the 144 is ultimately a 9. The 1 plus 4, 4. Because the magician embodiment of the 44 of the grounding, integrating, and mastering on how to receive love, and then putting the magician embodiment behind that to make it so powerful. It's also the 1 of the Godhead and the 2 4s, right? The loyal, the 40, it reminds me of the 2 4s because the, actually number 72, of the 72 and 72 is the 144. The 72nd card is the 4 of Pentacles, which is the Divine Masculine's heart in this deck for me, the SIRIAN Starseed deck in the Batcave, the Divine Masculine's heart in the Batcave. But the 4 of Pentacles is also that energy of the humble, loyal servant. So the 4-4 is those two, the 72 and the 72, which are ultimately each the 9 of the 144, and the 1,000 of the awakening to enlightenment. So we start this read with the Page of Pentacles reversed, and beneath that is the Knight of Pentacles upright, the Nine of Cups reversed, the Star upright, the Three of Pentacles upright, and then the Nine of Swords reversed. And again, the underlying energy, this always gets knocked around. So the bottom of the deck is here with the mini cards on top, for those of you not familiar. The Knight of Pentacles is the underlying energy. So they're upright here, right? The humble loyal servant, which I just brought up, which I wasn't even realizing this was the first card. The humble loyal servant, and they're upright, right? It's that energy of humbly offering their help, their time, their money, their energy, or just to be a friend. Dissatisfied with Star, healing, or dreams. Aquarius at work, perhaps with their sister, or suffering in silence because they're not sleeping well. And this always cracks me up that the sister comes up with the suffering in silence, because my sister has always had trouble sleeping. So Aquarius at work with the suffering in silence, not sleeping or just stressed out, with the Page of Pentacles reversed, in need of help, or perhaps lacks curiosity. The Queen of Cups and the King of Pentacles, both upright here, and they came up together twice in this read. The Queen of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles upright. Presented the truth about third party or separation. And these two can either be parting, they could be leaving each other, but they're both fine. It's like agreeing to disagree now and leaving each other, or they're the two coming together. It can be both. So the third party heartbreak here, or separation destined, with the Queen of Wands reversed, with new information about the Page of Wands upright, sharing or settling out, or settlement perhaps, at 439, which is the Emperor and the Knight of Cups. Clarity of the Page of Wands and what they want to do here, perhaps with a blanket of moss and space boots. Perhaps being Santa every day is what they want to do, or no more need for their antenna or something moldy around the house. With the Emperor giving the Knight of Pentacles the sideways glance about what they're offering to end the suffering, or going for broke here. Because the Knight of Pentacles is offering to the Emperor, but you know, they're a very humble person with humble means, and they're offering help to the Emperor, and they could be asking them for work as well. They could also be asking, you know, it could be a child presenting something to the Emperor and hoping they'll go for it, so that they'll support them in it. So the Emperor giving the Knight of Pentacles that sideways glance, like or about what they're offering to them to end the suffering, or going for broke and confident. Perhaps the Knight of Pentacles is confident, but they're also broke, or unsure the Emperor will go for it. With Aries upright and Cancer reversed, and romantic feelings, and beneath it, separation here. So after the separation is romantic feelings, and then the Five of Cups reversed, being over the loss, the grief, the regret, the shame, and the guilt, or just the past, where all is now exposed, or now there's sun and fun after a death or an ending, or Scorpio reversed, and also in the South Node, offering help to push them out of bed and wake them up. Perhaps a manly woman, or a feminine man, refusing to go up to the Knight of Pentacles, or refusing to just go up, so the Knight of Pentacles offers them something healthy instead. Instead of like yelling at them to get them out of bed, this could be someone else coming up in a very loving, gentle way to offer them something healthy to inspire them to come out of bed, as opposed to just pushing them out of bed or getting them out of bed. And this can be waking someone up, literally, to the journey. So at 449 is the Emperor and the Get Your Wish card of the Nine of Cups, of being happy with oneself. This could be also offering them something healthy, like cutting out, perhaps to cut out the hose and not wear it anymore, or cut out the hose, all right? Don't go out with slutty men or women anymore. Or see the difference in their legs. Just suppose or imagine. Use your imagination. With leadership coming up here with 81, which for me is the end of karma around the world, and then change, which is 5 here, of expansion, change, and freedom. Needing to use their intuition to end the nightmare in a bold move to be strong, to walk the dog, while the Queen of Cups longs for success or attention, perhaps from her husband who's never around, or is bringing good news to celebrate, and then getting out of there. Or perhaps found an escape from the crowds, that get out energy that I just sang to you yesterday from the Garden of Gethsemane in the market with Jesus, where he can't take it anymore because they don't see the spirituality and the love in this. Now they're just trying to sell things in the market again and take advantage of people. where he says, get out, get out. And then he goes into, the Garden of Gethsemane where, he's grieving that he knows he's going to die. So success, attention, which is no barrel of monkeys here, right? Because there's a lot of negative attention that comes your way as well. Perhaps found a way out after being honored. A toast of the town, perhaps. With Cancer and Leo upright and Pisces Capricorn reversed, and the Page of Pentacles reversed Capricorn, who escaped from having to share or then having to pay for everybody, or who already broke them, or their cars in the shop, or issues with travel or a move. So again, it can be maybe someone who always was, he was the toast of the town because he always offered to buy drinks. And now no one wants to be his friend unless they buy drinks for them. You see the twist here. So it's not always great being the one, right, with success. Romantic feelings here, and offering to buy the Empress car perhaps, and that's why the Emperor's rolling their eyes at you. Or maybe they want to rent it, to let go for a bit, or spend a little bit, or to end karma around the world. Maybe they want to go on the road for a trip and they're asking to borrow the Emperor's car because he may have multiple cars. And then we have the Six of Cups, loving kids or memories, but not wanting, or it's not working out with them perhaps. And this could be, parents wanting their kids to follow in their footsteps and work with them, perhaps creating a legacy. And then the kids, of course, have no interest after they've gotten their degree and all that kind of stuff. They know how to do what you do, but they have no interest in it whatsoever, and then they leave. So now all of the parents' plans have failed because they were planning the children's dreams for them instead of letting them have their own dreams. So some of that's going to be playing out as well. So the Six of Cups, loving kids and memories, but not working out with the Knight of Pentacles reversed and the High Priestess reversed in the past. Perhaps then going forward after this read is dumping a load magically post-war in energetic exchange, or the arrows of love, without an option or without volunteering to do it, or offering a new life to the Two of Cups in the fall, which can be literally in the fall when it becomes fall, or after having fallen or fallen from grace. But so someone might be ready to offer a new life to this Two of Cups relationship or partnership in fall, with the Queen of Pentacles upright, imprisoned at the moment, or after death and sudden events, epiphanies, or sexual exchange and deception, perhaps up early, or has to get up too early, or Scorpio and Cancer both reversed here, maybe going away but frustrated in a judgment, an announcement, or by a wake-up call, and defensive to the crowd, causing the suffering, or perhaps the sister, and the King of Pentacles upright with the Page of Pentacles reversed, perhaps father and child, but they could be siblings or just earth signs as well. Maybe they broke down together while they were out on vacation, or a breakup that was exposed now. Maybe a child exposed something they weren't supposed to tell yet, or the Page of Pentacles accident is exposed, or cancellation of a move or trip at 512, which is the Hierophant and the Hanging Man, or the Page of Pentacles reversed, is stuck without the King of Pentacles' help, and that can be that Knight of Pentacles asking the Emperor for help, and that's the King of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, same people. Or on their own, because the Emperor said no, or with Cancer reversed, Leo upright, or kids, pets, or issues with more due to pets, because maybe they don't take pets everywhere. Maybe if you don't have the Emperor's car, you can't do it because then you can't take your pet, or something like that. And then we have the recent past here of Strength card upright, of breaking through. This is that tiger energy, of breaking through that ring of fire, or a strong birth here, right? Birthing with a rebel yell. And that Page of Cups reverse, rejected or spoiled by the Ten of Pentacles family, business, or community. And the King of Wands reverse, juggling or being entertained while the Knight of Swords or a delivery comes. Or watched, this could be the King of Wands reversed can be being lazy, right? Because he's reversed. He can be just sitting home watching Let's Make a Deal or something here. With the Magician, who has all their tools on board, but also feeling imprisoned by it, or an escape act here, with Justice or Libra. Temperance, patience, and betrayal here, or a painful ending, or bleeding out but recovering in the end, with the Page of Swords stepping it up, with a message to cheer them up, perhaps. And this can be an ill parent as well, who's being cheered up by one of the kids or a grandkid. with Leo upright, Gemini upright, Virgo upright, Sag upright, Libra upright, all here in the happy family. Or the foundation here is the Ten of Swords reversed, where they're ending pain or in a painful ending. And again, it can just be getting a massage. The Ten of Cups is upright, a happy family with the Queen of Pentacles upright. And we started this read with Gaia and her happy family, the Ten of Cups. So there is a relationship there. Remembering that she has all her children, which is all of you as well, on her. The Ten of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles and their family, the Empress reversed, may have passed away already, or Taurus reversed, clingy or near death, or just a never-ending story of them, and perhaps they're moody or being in pain. Or the Queen of Pentacles with Taurus and Scorpio reversed, or kids acting up. At 558, the Five of the Hierophant, which is also Taurus, which is also commitment, change, expansion, freedom, but also societal norms with the Hierophant and commitments. And the freedom that comes with certain commitments, but only if they're commitments you make because you love what you're being committed to. And then the 58 of the connection of the twins, but also having a break, a rest. You know, enjoying your downtime or quiet time that everybody needs every day. At 558, or this could be the King of Pentacles upright, with the Queen of Cups upright, and then the Page of Pentacles reversed, and the Queen of Pentacles upright, and the Empress reversed, who maybe not be doing well, right? So they're all Pentacles kind of energy, including the Empress, because she's Earth, along with the Queen of Cups here. And the King of Pentacles. Like I said, I don't know if those are two breaking apart or coming together, but they're showing the difference between them. One's more heart-based, the Queen of Cups, and the King of Pentacles more based in practical things, like money. But he's very successful here, and he is upright still. He's a good man. The central energy here is the Two of Pentacles, and surrendering to all that is. The King of Swords reversed, perhaps Libra or Gemini with Taurus in their chart, or two air signs, Gemini and Libra, with the hostage between them, or lawyers in court with judge and the prisoner, looking back at peace, away from having to stand up for themselves, or needing a bodyguard just so that they can work or get some work done, or having to work and do the yard at the same time, settling out with everyone here. And again, a prisoner may at this point feel like it's easier in prison than it is out there because of all the responsibilities or all the mess that they got themselves into, or people wanting something from them because they gave it all willingly. And then the challenge being here, the Seven of Cups reversed, having to come back downstairs for the Queen of Cups upright to get the truth from the Queen of Swords reversed, who may be lying, or maybe she's just really hurt, but that can be verbal abuse as well. And then the home is upright here with the Ten of Swords upright. Perhaps someone feels stabbed in the back, or ending pain for others, like a massage, like I already said. And receiving the truth perhaps helped them get over their loss, and helped while the Queen of Cups upright and the Knight of Cups upright, or excuse me, after it may have helped them get over their loss, actually hearing the truth, even though it may initially sting. But this is someone realizing that it actually helped them, and then helped the Queen of Cups offer love to others as well. So again, there's that pay it forward energy. And the Queen of Swords reversed is ending the pain at home, while the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups are offering love to the King of Pentacles and the other kids, perhaps with even more love coming back in return. With Taurus Hierophant and the King of Swords reversed, or the King of Swords is his business or establishment may be deceiving or up really, really early, or dealing with cancer reversed, or the disease, literally. And then the Two of Swords reversed finally cracked her to get information about frustration, lack of inspiration, or sexual abuse that they never told them about. Or this can be some kind of judgment that they didn't know about at 612, which is the Lovers and the Hanged Man. That could be a hung jury as well. But the judgment's coming up as sweet. So if someone does get a final judgment in court, it will be lenient. It will be very kind. Or this can be a call as well, or a wake-up call. The Knight of Cups, maybe someone got off, right? And now they just had to learn their lesson the hard way, but at least they didn't have to do any time. And that could be, also being forgiven, or, having it swiped from their record if they're young, or they're just just of age, something like that. Or finding peace, or on peaceful travels here with the Emperor, wounded warrior, prisoner perhaps, or on work release program, or giving Pisces and or Capricorn reversed the eye, perhaps feeling a failure in front of the upside down world, or the divine feminine in the 5D, or Pisces reversed, or awake, but what's going on under the radar with lovers or a breakup, or tempted by the devil, or Pisces, Gemini reversed, and Capricorn upright here at 616, and the lovers in the tower here. So what's the tower mean? And now is the Queen of Cups upright, perhaps with no affection, or taking a load off without a choice, and the Emperor reversed out in the cold with big love and trying to escape now. The Page of Wands inspired by the divine feminine in the 5D, and Pisces reversed of the crazy world. They're alchemizing, right? They're finding the negativity things and actually being inspired by those things to create something. So again, the Emperor reversed is coming up out in the cold, but now with big love, right? So it gets turned around. He doesn't realize maybe he's going to be happier without all he had. But he's been trying to escape it, right? And then the Page of Wands is really excited by the feminine in the 5D, and Pisces reversed, or the crazy world that we're in now, they found new inspiration. Or working with the patient angel, or Sag, and the Queen of Swords reversed, Gemini, or in a breakup with the Queen of Cups upright with Pisces in their chart, or the divine feminine and the King of Swords reversed, and the Queen of Swords reversed, who could be an Aquarius and Gemini, perhaps at the doctors with Cancer, or Virgo hermit with Cancer reversed. So that can literally be where they had spontaneous remission, and maybe that can involve a hermit doctor or a professional or a Virgo person. This can be an older man as well, or like a grandparent. But also shedding light on the Knight of Cups, finding peace while others are inspired or ill or exiled. Perhaps this can be someone finding, the Knight of Cups maybe finding peace because he's being loved, right? Or she is being loved, while others may be feeling imprisoned or ill or exiled for energy vampiring that's stealing their peace. And then the Tower reversed with the Hierophant upright, or Scorpio reversed, and Taurus upright again, the North and South Node, avoiding disaster with narcissistic old man. Perhaps he's a wounded warrior or vet. And the Emperor upright with the wounded warrior without reunion. Maybe that's the Emperor's brother, right, who's a vet from the war. And here's the Emperor, his brother, who's all successful and everything. So very different energies there, right? One has all the responsibilities, but also is very stable, while the other one has no stability, but maybe he's found something else that makes him happy because he doesn't have all those responsibilities. But again, this can be reunion of the Emperor with the wounded warrior, but no reunion, refusing it because they're overindulgent people, right? And starting over in love, those people who are sponging off of them, that kind of thing, are now just off the fence, starting over in love. Anyway, in a breakup or lack of affection, exiting or ending conflict with healing or dreams coming true, or perhaps embarrassed, perhaps someone fell on their face or from grace, or just lacking faith and dissatisfied, letting go, just as the Knight of Wands rushes in just in time to save the day, which again is a codependency at 640 of the Lovers and the Page of Cups, which is a message of love and the lovers. But remember, there's always going to be some kind of codependency in your life because we rely on each other, right, to get by. So soon here is the King of Pentacles upright and exchanging love with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Cups, perhaps on vacation or just sun and fun with the kids or pets, and Leo and tempted to offer something big to the Page of Pentacles reversed, perhaps implementing a plan for the bird to take off or leave the nest. Perhaps they're unhappy with themselves at home, with Leo, Capricorn, and Aquarius all upright there. Maybe they're fine, but they don't resonate with them. And the twin flames seeing themselves as the abundance card reversed, or perhaps without a mother, or perhaps in the need for the feeling of that. And destined to energetic exchange, or the arrows of love, Or again, the two ones who are equal and congruent to each other at work or with third party, or overindulgers and gossips about the high priestess keeping quiet. And the Queen of Wands reversed around, right? And that's not someone necessarily you want to be around. She's the Queen of Wands reversed. She could actually be physically abusive. Or looking for new information to spread around, right? She may be looking for gossip purposely. Or the Page of Swords stepping up to advertise, to hang out and see new perspectives. Or slashing prices. Lots of back and forth. With Taurus reversed and Libra upright, Pisces and Capricorn upright here as well. Could be at a church or religious affiliation here too. Wedding, this could be the one. And new love here on top. So again, it could be a wedding that's happening, or it just involves marriage where there may be a divorce at hand, or dealing with a relationship. This could be, if it is a wedding, it could be a female officiant and the maid of honor present for sure. Or Pisces with fire in their chart at 652, the Lovers and the Queen of Swords. Around the twins or how they're seen is the Tower reversed, walking away or going away after a sudden event, epiphany or exchange under the radar, or trying to avoid disaster, or coming clean about a falling out in the past, or a bad childhood, or dumping multiple loads or emotional attachments, or all must go. Or after all of that, they found the one. In a lack of abundance here, avoiding disaster. And the block is the Hanging Man with the right knee block that we talked about already, in anger issues that need to be released, and perhaps not knowing that you got shot in the leg at one point in your ancestry from your relatives, and the need to clear that wound of being hurt because of somebody else's prejudices. Or the Page of Pentacles reversed only with one pentacle, but got a big offer from the Devil or Capricorn that's too good to resist, and implementing a plan now to get me some of that. And if they'll have them, or worry that they don't have as much as her, that he'll never be able to satisfy her, or perhaps thinks she's high maintenance. And then effort comes up along with, even more so, financial discipline and surrender, as the wounded warrior is being offered a new life in a breakup or with lack of affection, or man with two lovers under the radar with the divine feminine in 5D, but no real physical affection going on there. And the two lovers too can just be two of great affection, so it could be children that they're taking care of as well, or two friends. But again, there's no real affection here though with the Devil, or perhaps in earth terms, right? And then the King of Cups reversed, trying to be strong, taming the beast, or grooming the dog, and worried they won't take them with a dog. Post-war, post-battle of the past at 702, which is also the Chariot and High Priestess, and July 2nd. And then the Page of Swords with a message of big love. The Knight of Wands here is rising above, starting over post-war, and making an announcement or a call. An offer of love and partnership, the Two of Cups here, with Leo, Capricorn upright and Pisces reversed. Gemini is also reversed, but Aquarius, Sag, Libra, and or Virgo are all upright here, including the Page of Swords as well. The Page of Swords could be Libra or Virgo. Could be multiple breakups here with 3 sets of lovers, and watching a marriage series perhaps where only one couple ended up together at 708, which is the Chariot and the Dance. It's also strength and manifesting your dreams. As the Knight of Pentacles, maybe dissatisfied with self, or acting arrogant, or being the star at work, right? But like acting humble, right? They're coming up upright though, but they may be not satisfied with themselves or coming off as arrogant. The star at work, or suffering in silence, or sister here again. The Page of Pentacles reversed may be a pain in the ass, or ending pain with the Empress reversed, perhaps after a sudden event, perhaps a birth, or surrendering to all that is, or challenged by letting go of all of the rest, now with responsibilities so they can't do all the things they used to do, or the King of Pentacles hanging out with the Queen of Cups, broken up or without affection. So again, this is where they're together again as well. So whether they're the two splitting up or coming back together, they're both upright. So if they're breaking up, they're both fine with breaking up. At 7 o'clock on the dot right now. Double zeros by backing up the 7 of the Chariot. This also could be or they're just friends, or giving kids or people at work the truth about the separation, or about taking a break, post-virus, and other battles, conflicts, and the past that caught up to them, and the Page of Swords overflowing with love in a connection. The Knight of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles reversed here. The Knight's upright, Page is reversed. Perhaps with a breakthrough, or had a break in and got scared, but found a way out, ending pain or in a painful ending, surrendering to it all, with the Queen of Cups upright and challenged by the Seven of Cups reversed, no longer confused about the Empress reversed and the King of Pentacles upright after a sudden event, and hanging out with a knee injury, or perhaps an old wound, and perhaps after lover's tiff or breakup in a knockdown, drag-out fight in the past, and the Page of Swords exuding big love to share in a one-to-one connection at 717. The Queen of Cups can be the one on the way out or the new one and introduced to the kids, and the Queen of Pentacles with the Empress reversed in pain, perhaps after a miscarriage or a near-death experience, or just being clingy and getting massages together. Perhaps the King of Pentacles upright is taking the kids, or 4 to 5 to 6. There could be siblings here, Pentacles siblings, which are earth signs. And then the King, the Queen, the Knight, perhaps 2 Knight of Pentacles here, and a Page of Pentacles reversed. So they're all upright except for the Page, and the Empress reversed, who's also an earth sign. So they're all earth. Perhaps planning travel together, or a wedding, or baby, or birthday party here at 723, which is the 7 of the Chariot and the 23 of the King of Wands. And I actually do have I'm trying to remember how old she is. I have a birthday party to go next weekend, so I think she's 3. So, there we go. A lot of info. And last night, the movies that came up were Senior Year and Operation Mincemeat, which was a military operation, actually. And Senior Year is a funny movie. What's her name? The heavy female comedian who lost a lot of weight. She was in that, and that was fun to watch. All right, so let's see what comes up. Just pull a few oracle cards and see what's coming up. So from the Wild Unknown, guidebook here, animal guidebook, animal spirit guidebook. Sorry. I just saw the deer and the lion. And now I'm seeing the gazelle and the lion, so it's that same energy. The deer, oh, there we go. There's your card. Came right out. Kind of sticky fingers there. Hard to get a hold of it. The black egg is the truth, and there's the purple moon energy as well around the truth. So being present in the moment to the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. So again, court situations coming up here, and court cases, as well as just speaking the truth now. And there you go. We got the reflecting swans. And the collective awakening that this is the truth. Beautiful. There's not much of a message there except for love, right? When the truth is out and we're all in the purple moon at 0 point, being present in the present moment in our hearts, then all is well with the world as the collective awakens here. The truth is being reflected out into the whole world and into the collective after the bottom of the deck, which is the rabbit, who's always scared, with anxiety issues. What's going to happen? There's the father and child, right? So there's the elk, who's usually a good father unless you don't feed him right, and then he's arrogant and pissed off. And that can be the emperor issue with the son, right? The son that he never had, or the son that the son that is the only son he recognizes, right? Because he's the only one who actually does what he wants him to do. It's kind of that energy and the underlying energy here, right? Because this is a child who's really scared. And the emperor doesn't go for that, right? Or maybe they're just trying to help them overcome those issues, whether it's a son or a daughter. But again, that just came up with the other reads, that the emperor who wanted a son, right, to take over the business, and then they never get it. Or maybe they prepared this for their son or their daughter to take over a business, and then they don't want to do it. So it's that same kind of energy. But this is about just making peace no matter what. You speak your truth, allow them to have their own truth. Then there wouldn't have been an issue in the first place. Reflecting swans and the love around the world as the collective awakens, and the illumination of the 1,000 suns, right? And there's the suns again. So I want to pull from the Shaman deck again, too, because that was big energies for today. This is the Shaman Dreams. Where are we? Okay. It was just 01-25-01, which is the Magician and the Knight of Wands, and then the Magician again. And also it could be two Divine Masculines and the Knight of Wands in the middle. The Runner, the go-between, the one that saves the day. Because it could be someone covering for someone too. Okay. You know, someone in a practice with one partner, and then they have someone who comes in from another practice to cover them time to time. Or just running between jobs as well could be coming up there. All right, let's see. All right. The Joyful Muse, this came up earlier too, inspiration. So remember, music is the inner child, the muse of the inner child. What floats your boat? What makes you happy and joyful? What are you inspired by? The 33 is the Christ vibration, and the 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself, taking the high ground, because you're doing now what you love to do, whether they like it or not. And being happy. And then we have the Feast of Plenty. And again, that came up about plenty with the river overflowing as well. Right, opening the floodgates. So there's another energy, Feast of Plenty, that's similar to that, because there's choices there and there are consequences, right? There's a lot of responsibility around having plenty. It's not just getting it, you have to take care of it. So, and then there's one more card that came out. Dances on one foot, the balancing act. And that's funny too, because I told you in Feng Shui that the toad with the three-legged toad is the one that's supposed to be good luck. But dancing on one foot and the balancing act, and again the right knee block with my toad, but having 3 other feet that are fine. It's 7:07 on the clock. And then the 9 of the Hermit, which is also Virgo energy. For me, the Judgment card is Aquarius. So perhaps those two energies here, someone who's being overindulgent here, realizing the choices and their consequences here, and also the bee is here, which were very present when I was talking to my toad this morning. And again, there's 2 swords in here too, as opposed to 2 straws as a milkshake kind of energy. And the crystal ball came up earlier as the need to imagine, right? Blocking yourself from change because you're comfy cozy under your blankies and you don't want to change. But it's using your imagination to manifest something new, that you're no longer your old story. You're now present, something completely different than you were even, one day ago, let alone 10 years ago. You're not that person anymore. It's no longer your story. To enjoy yourself, go to the, instead of the knives, let this be going to Happy Days, to the hot shop or to the soda place, enjoying it with somebody else. And then dancing on one foot, the balancing act. But that you do between the 2 worlds here, and dipping your toe in. Look, she's putting her foot right on the ball there. Dipping your toe in. And getting to, because this is supposed to be imagining your dream, because there's nothing in there in the crystal ball. It's coming up like the crystal ball with the flying monkeys on top, because that's one of the cards. And the need to let go of the past so that the story can complete, so you can get to the other side. Because the bridge is not complete. That was coming up earlier. You need to, there needs to be a bridge to get to the other side, even if it means stretching and pointing your toe to touch base over there. Using your imagination, being creative about how you get there, how you bridge the gap between from where you are now to where you need to be. Being creative about that. And this is also 2 eccentrics coming together in a feast of plenty, being very aware of their choices and consequences. It's really nice, actually. The bottom of the deck here is the mindful groupthink. So again, there could be some brainstorming here. With the 40 is the Page of Cups. That innocent, wanting that innocent energy in there, right? Because even if they're not the experienced adult, they can bring a lot to the plate there, being the young one with the fresh mind. And again, kicking up the dust a bit. You know, maybe it's been too long since we've had some fresh meat in here, right? This stagnation, whether it means cleaning your house or just a fresh new look. The devil is the stagnation, because that means death, right? There's no life anymore. So kicking up the dust there for the new ones coming in to give you brand new ideas in the think tank here. And these three came out too. There's actually two more groups of three that came out. The Stranger, Curiosity with the 53, which is the Knight of Swords. And this is about, came out with another card before, where the next card was him underneath the water, right? Where here he's just contemplating jumping in, but nah, I'm comfortable where I am. But instead jumping in, just experiencing something new, the message of truth. And there's that electric connection there. It's trying to tempt him. Come on, you can do it. It'll just change things up for you. And then we have the straddling between worlds, which I showed you earlier. Wandering between the realms, the 52 of the Queen of Swords and the 53 of the Knight of Swords. And this can be the masculine and the feminine coming together, being very different, being exactly who they are, and yet that being able to make that work. But if she's straddling two worlds and this one's refusing to go in the water, then it may not work, right? And there's the Fool's Embrace, the transmuting of pain, and there's the Child's Pose as well, the 22 of the Fool's Journey, of the Queen and the Knight of Swords here. Remember, the Fool's Embrace is embracing something that you don't resonate with. So are they going to be equal in the way they share and they give and they want to explore with you? Are they going to allow you the love that you want and give you your independence at the same time? Or are they just going to are they still in a place that you are no longer, where they're refusing to try new things? They're refusing to be who they really want to be, because he really wants to jump in, but he's like, nah, I'm comfortable. I don't think so. And this is someone like trying to encourage them. Come on, give it a try. And then failing at that, you know? And then it makes them feel bad because they can't share in something. So it's just, making sure when you get together with someone that they're good within themselves before actually coming together on that fool's journey with an open heart. It's always keeping your heart open to it and taking that leap of faith. And no one has to be perfect to come into relationship or union. But it's about being in a place that you resonate with, that feels good. And nothing's ever perfect. But it means being present in every moment and always saying what you need to say, so it doesn't sit and collect dust, right? It's just about being real, being your authentic self at all times, even if it hurts another's feelings, so that you can get it out on the table now and clear it up so there's no residual there. And it's a day-to-day, minute-to-minute experience, as opposed to letting things go and then, I won't say anything now. And then it builds up 10 years later, and then there's no more relationship. So again, it's about being true to yourself, authentic, loving, and kind, and truthful. And then these three came up too: the Horseman, the Herald of Change, of union, and the Wailing Tree of reconciliations, how that you'll need to purge together. There's that Knight of Wands coming into the rescue. And then here's the Wailing Tree of purging in reconciliation, right? The wound within, the Five of Swords. And then the 58 of then coming together, shattering the mirror, which we're doing with the eclipse tonight. The vanishing mirror, the ego sublimation, letting go of what you thought was real is no longer, right? Because the sun thought that the moon was their reflection, but the moon is not their reflection, the earth is. So now the earth is presenting themselves, right, after the purge here, the reconciliation of shattering what they thought they knew, shattering the ego. Really cool messages there. The first card out is Joyful Muse. I'm going to read you that one, and then we'll be set. I'm not going to read you the throat chakra, because you guys know about the black egg and the throat chakra there. I've read it many times before. And it's just about speaking your truth, activating your... I know Magenta was talking about the connection between the throat chakra and the third eye and the crown, as well as I'm talking about the crown exploding into full illumination. So 33 is the Joyful Muse. Inspiration, the gift of play, and the inner child. The Joyful Muse invites you to become more playful, to have more mirth and joy in your life. You become boring to yourself even as others continue to find you interesting. Circumstances have dulled your edge, and it's time to change. Not the things around you, but your attitude. Blow a morning kiss to yourself in the mirror. Smile to a stranger. Wink to a child. Be mildly but elegantly inappropriate. The Joyful Muse is a source of inspiration, a wild and disruptive feminine force that compels you to invite more pleasure and delight into your life. Even if, and this is my words, but even if you're, that eclectic energy, it's okay. Be yourself. Give yourself permission to be mischievous and find the humor in the tragedy while careful not to become frivolous. The power of this muse will shake up everyone around you and invite you to create beauty and grace out of the pain and tragedy you perceive in areas of your life. The Joyful Muse often comes at a time when darkness prevails and the future seems dour. Like I said, the inspiration comes when you're in the preparations, when you're in the womb, right? When you're in school, but you haven't graduated yet. That's when the inspiration comes. It often comes at a time when darkness prevails, when we're grieving someone who we love, and then we write a song about them, and the future seems dour. Embrace her gifts, being playful without being silly. Invite the child inside you to come out for a play date, and he or she will help you to return to your innate innocence, the place of never been there, never done that. Even if it's the same routine you wake up to every morning. And it's that same energy about the Page of Cups, innocent, coming into the new, think tank thing, too, to get a fresh perspective. Okay, you guys. Just a gentle reminder, inviting you to take good care of yourself, and it's 7:17 on the clock again now, to, drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, your joy and your nature, to be well balanced and feel good every day, because of course we can be present in the moment much better if we feel good and we take care of our body and our mind and our soul and spirit, our heart, all of those things. Okay, rise and be loved, guys.